Welcome to MLSsoccer.com's Playoff Central, presented by Samsung Galaxy with Andrew Wiebe. I'm Jason Saghini. Andrew and I are taking a look at the first of the knockout round games. That, of course, the Colorado Rapids at the Seattle Sounders, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday night. You can see that televised locally in Seattle and Colorado or nationally on the NBC Sports Network.
Yeah, and Jason, we didn't know this was going to be the matchup until late Sunday night. That draw for Seattle at CenturyLink Field being the change here. They'll have to play in the play-in game. The moment you probably remember from these two teams, 2011, April, that horrific injury for Steve Zakuani at the hands of Brian Mullen, but they've moved on. Neither of those players will really play a big role here. This comes down to a matchup of a team with high expectations in Seattle and one with a youth movement that's really done plenty this year to get it going.
These teams have met 3 times this season, twice in Colorado, and they split the matches with a 1-1-1 record. But this series seems to be trending towards Colorado's favor at this point, especially, Andrew, when you look at that last result.
Yeah, 5-1. They absolutely blew the Sounders out of Dick's Sporting Good Park. The Stars in that one, 2 rookies, Deshaun Brown and Dylan Powers. Brown with that brace, the first goal coming the second fastest all-time in MLS history, now the third. He can thank Tim Cahill for that. Look, they have their number in Colorado with that new-look team, with those new pieces, but they have not played very well in Seattle, and that could be a problem.
Colorado had an opportunity to jump Seattle had they won in Vancouver. Instead, they got smoked 3-0. That could be a huge swing in this series.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be at their disadvantage to go on the road. We all know about CenturyLink Field. We all know how well Seattle plays in the friendly confines. But look, Colorado has been average at best for playoff teams on the road, and they've been frankly terrible in Seattle. 0-5-1 all time there. That lone draw coming this year. Can they get it done? Yeah, that's certainly possible. But if you had to do the odds on this one, the Sounders certainly have them in their favor.
All right, if that's one area that points in favor of Seattle, our next storyline revolves around goalkeeper form, and that seems to lean towards the Rapids at this point, despite giving up 3 goals on Sunday in Vancouver.
Yeah, if you flash back to March, this would be a shocking talking point for both these teams. At that point, you figure Matt Pickens is probably going to be the starter in Colorado. Clint Irwin has grabbed that spot, and he has had a great season as a rookie. And on the other side, Seattle figured they were set with Michael Geschperning. This guy probably going to be one of the best goalkeepers in the league, and he was for most of the season. But he's really had some problems with form lately. Siggy Schmidt pulling him in and out of the lineup. Did not look confident against LA over the weekend. That's one to watch because, look, Colorado Rapids, the best team in the league from outside the box. They've got the most goals from outside the 18.
All right, the final storyline we're going to touch on here is the pressure. These teams have a great juxtaposition of experience and pressure. Seattle has the more experienced team, but it has mounds of pressure on them to succeed. Colorado relies heavily on youth, and they are playing with house money at this point. So the pressure is off, Andrew. Which team would you rather be here? More experience, more pressure, less experience, less pressure.
Look, I'm going to take more experience, more pressure because these guys are ones that have been through it before. The experience is there. The expectations are there for a reason. And hey, if they need a little bit of a pick-me-up, you've got a huge crowd behind you there at CenturyLink.
Now it's time for the X factor for this match, and it's going to come from the injury report, specifically for the Colorado Rapids. Dylan Powers and Vicente Sanchez, 2 key players out for the Rapids the last few games. Dylan Powers has been out since a concussion suffered on October 5th. He is the all-encompassing midfielder that Oscar Pareja needs in his 4-3-3 system. He can spread the ball around, he's got great service, and he has the physicality in the midfield. Without him, though, Andrew, Pareja has to choose between Nick LaBroca and Martin Rivero. Neither of those guys give him everything he wants in that one player.
Yeah, he's not going to get everything he wants because I don't think Dylan Powers is going to play in this game. It's too soon. You can't just throw him back in there, especially with everything on the line over 90 minutes. But you mentioned it. Nick LaBroca, he is a physical presence in that midfield. He'll be a guy that battles for you, that wins the ball back. The question is, can he equal that set-piece service? Can he be the long-distance threat that Powers is? Probably not. On the other side, Martin Rivero, technically very, very good. He can do it on set pieces. He can probably deliver those shots from distance, but he doesn't have the bite, and you know you're going to need that bite against a Sounders team with a great, great midfield.
All right, so if Powers doesn't go and Pareja has to choose between Martin Rivero and Nick LaBroca, on Martin Rivero's side, you have set pieces. He's one of their best set piece takers. Seattle Sounders worst in the league on corner kicks. On LaBroca's side, he's physical in that three-man midfield, which is going to be tough to battle the Seattle Sounders. So which way are you going to go?
Look, I think he's going to go LaBroca. That's the way he went in Vancouver. Now, it didn't work out. 3-0 there, but there was a key player missing. You mentioned him, Vicente Sanchez. He should be back for this game. He should be the guy pulling the strings for Deshaun Brown and Gabi Torres. He should be the one delivering on set pieces. And look, if you need a goal, go to Rivero late on. I think that's the way Oscar Pareja is going to play it.
Before we go, let's take a look at the social buzz around this game, and we're going to start with a tweet from Joshua Myers after the Sounders Galaxy game.
Yeah, this one's from Clint Dempsey. A quote, "You don't want to have a goose egg for the season. Hopefully they will start coming a little bit easier now." A little bit of advice for you, Clint. Maybe give Camilo a ring up in Vancouver. He seems to have this Rapids back line figured out.
All right, I'm going to summarize this one a little bit, but essentially it was a conversation on Twitter between Cad Chica and Ray Markham discussing what Ziggy Schmidt has to do to keep his job. After all the injuries and national team call-ups, is this really a valid conversation at this point? Ziggy Schmidt's one of the best all-time coaches in MLS history. Unless you're bringing in Bruce Arena, and I think he's already got a job, you keep Ziggy Schmidt. He's going to take the Sounders to wherever they're going to go. However successful they'll be, he's going to get them there.
Yeah, certainly the pressure on Siggy, though. Teddy Montoya asks, which defense is better, the 2010 Rapids or the 2013 Rapids? I'm going to take the current edition, third best defense in MLS on goals allowed. Deeper this year than they were in 2010. You've got some National League prospects. Chris Klutz there, a guy like Shane O'Neill is on the up, and Drew Moore, of course, the rock of that defense.
All right, before we go, Andrew, let's get your prediction on what is going to happen on Wednesday night.
Now, look, the pressure's on the Seattle Sounders. We know that. I think they're going to answer the bell. I think it's going to be 2-1 Sounders. Clint Dempsey gets the game winner. Gabriel Torres makes his money, that first ever DP in Colorado history. Season is over early, though, for Oscar Pareja. Next year is going to be an exciting one at Dick's Sporting Good Park.
All right, fans, let us know what you think. What is going to happen in this game? Put your comments in the comment section below. And remember, you can see it locally in Seattle or Colorado, or you can get it nationally on the NBC Sports Network. That's all we have for the Seattle Sounders Colorado Rapids knockout round preview. Keep an eye out for the scouting report with Matt Doyle and Dan Hayek on this game. And stay tuned to MLSsoccer.com's Playoff Central, presented by Samsung Galaxy, for all your playoff coverage.